Good morning everyone, my name is Christian from Two-Headed Wolf Gaming, and with this epic music and background I'm bringing you the game of the weekend for Sunday, which is Rogue Legacy 2. If you haven't looked at yesterday's episode where I brought a Rogue Legacy 1, this game was developed by Cellar Door Games and it came out in 2020. It's still a work in progress, as you can see. They keep bringing updates and patches and they keep working on it. So if you are into early access, I am going to show you for the next hour what this game is about. And if you want a fuller experience of the same type of gameplay and idea, then I would recommend that you go check out yesterday's video with Rogue Legacy 1, and if it's something that really seems fun to you, go ahead and pick it up for yourself. I'll just go inside the game. Let's see, let's pick a new saving slot and start a new legacy. I'll have a sip of coffee, so cheers everyone. The time has passed and they have not returned. The estuaries have decayed, the kingdom demands deliverance. Sign the contract, and your children shall succeed you. As you can see, the graphics look a whole lot better. I don't know who... Once you cast off, you shall never return, or something. There is no turning back, exactly. As you can see, the graphics on this game are a whole lot better. They're a lot more charming, but the gameplay feels close to the same. I believe that from everything I saw so far, it's a pretty fun game, and it looks a whole lot better. Anything that could have been improved in the previous game feels like they're working on improving in this one. On one side it feels the same, but it's still quite different. I don't know how to explain it better than this, but we will go through the game and discover it ourselves. Let's see. We've bunkered in here for the past few days as Z and her spies prepped the west wall. They've rigged the trap doors ahead so that we can open them from below. Tonight we make our move. There are heavier patrols ahead, but with all the fighting at the bridge, there should be no time for reinforcements. I haven't played this game much. What I did, basically, I played for 5 minutes when it first came out in early access, because I wanted to support the developers. I did enjoy the first game quite a bit, and so I liked the look of the second one and went ahead and bought it. But I am waiting for the full experience to come out. Let's see, the diving bell cables. We need to pass the interior... No, the bell cables we need to pass the interior ramparts were waiting for us just like Z promised. But our scouts underestimated how much we'd need. We're short a few hundred feet. Looks like we'll have to get creative with this one. Okay, so we have a new mechanic here. We press the right controller button and we teleport, or we go through these tubes. Shortly after taking damage we can go with aerial recovery. Okay, let's do that. As in the first game, this first mission or this first experience right here is part of a tutorial. It teaches you all you need to know about the mechanics of the game, so that's what I'm doing now. Looks like I've underestimated Z and her charisma again. Below me I can see the heads of all the misfits that have joined our ranks. When did so many rebels join? From here it seems like an endless sea. This was supposed to be a suicide mission meant only for a few. She unknowingly rallied these souls to a lost cause and my mistakes keep growing. We have a brand new story here. it makes me quite curious to see what this is about. This is it, the end of the line. Below us there is a trick door which can only be opened with magic. Z says it should lead us straight to the estuaries. So this is it. Tonight we live and die with the sins I've committed. Okay, so we can restore mana by attacking these units. Yeah, I haven't spent too much time. I spent a few minutes when it first came out, and then I spent a few minutes today just trying to get myself familiar, make sure that the controls work well, that the sound is at a level that we can hear properly. So I am actually pretty excited at giving this game a go again to see how far they've reached with it. Like, we have a paladin, we start with this ability to shield. So it's not like in the past games where we had to upgrade our troops, our classes, in order to do a special ability. And then I have these spells. Okay, I will be rushing in a way, like I have done in the past. It is a game where you are moving pretty quickly from room to room, which also exposes you to all kinds of mistakes. But then once again, this is one game where people do a lot of speedruns, trying to get the fastest times in completing the game. So I'm sure they will be doing the same with this one. I wanted to say even at the beginning, but I will say it better right now, but I do love what the art department and the graphics department did with this game. Like, it's so much better, it's so pretty. Yeah, let's use some of the fireballs ourselves. I do like this cartoonish look a tiny bit more. Okay, I guess we can go up. So personally, I do think this is an improvement over the last game. And I do think the music is better as well. Where the last game had a more arcadey type of music, and maybe budget-wise they couldn't, they went that route. I think if I saw it correctly, as I tried to look through their website a little bit, through the developer's website, these are just two brothers who love games, and in the past video, yeah, these platforms will be the death of us. Come on, burn, burn, and leave me alone. Oh, so these platforms only destroy themselves when we jump. Okay, we've learned something. So we can sit still without having to worry there. Okay, we're going to go down. I think these are just two brothers who are developing these games. I don't know if they've increased their team since they're working on their second game. But yeah, just two people for that first game. And they do have part of their story in the first game where they talk about some of the games they created, some of which actually had success, like Rogue Legacy had a pretty good success, actually, I would say. Okay, we've lost our first character. Oh. But they also talk about the experiences where they didn't succeed, which I found to be pretty fun to read. It tells you more about who they were and what they tried and how they made it to this point. Let's see, we have a few traits: aerodynamic and hypergonadism. The knight has good health, the stable fable, good at everything, the perfect marriage material. They can swing a sword, they have a great sword, they have a shield to block, and they have the spell either flame barrier or fireball. Okay, I don't know what aerodynamic is, but we'll pick this one. Probably jump higher, I don't know. There's also an option in the settings where you can go with scientific or non-scientific traits. I think at this point I have with no scientific. I'm not sure what we're going to get, but we'll discover it ourselves. Let's see. Socialism at its worst. Trade now gives gold modifiers. Universal health share. So we get, or your kingdom has decided to tax the rich to care for the poor. The contentious decision for sure, but let's see how it pans out. Certain traits now give gold bonuses. So basically, if we get a bad trait, like not being able to see properly, we will get extra bonuses. That's nice. Archery range. Before the invention of the archery range, most people practiced by firing arrows at their neighbors. Unlock the ranger class. Okay, let's unlock that. What else? Bows for foes. Rain down the pain and fletch foes from afar with an assortment of arrows. Rangers can take a lot of hits, but they don't have to when they're shooting enemies from a million miles away. Okay. Just give me a second, I'll set an alarm just to make sure we're not going too much over time, because I see myself playing this for a long time. Would you like to switch to the ranger class? I say no. Not yet. We are going ahead with this paladin we picked. Let's upgrade the blacksmith. What the blacksmith lacks in creativity, he makes up for in age. We gather blueprint for him and we unlock recipes. Lure the most capable enchantress with a palace of pillows. Don't let her height fool you. The enchantress is smaller than she looks. Okay, so we are looking for runes that she can imbue with power. Let's also pick a health bar here. We can take a look at the castle that is forming. We started with a camp and a tower. Create loopholes to save on Karen's taxes. Definitely we'll be doing that to save some money. Before being transmogrified, the living safe hid money for the rich to keep from the poor. Now that he's on your side, he doesn't seem so bad. Okay, so we're putting some money aside. And what else? Foundry. Face the heat and test your metal by melting metals to make better metals. We gain some armor. Armor absorbs a percentage of incoming damage before eventually shattering. Let's go with that. And we have 2 more classes here, but we'll play them in the future. Let's start here. Do we have more money? Nope. The down kick. Ooh. So that's what aerodynamic does. That's quite cool. We must pay the fee, and I guess we're putting some money aside. Yeah. Pretty self-explanatory. If you played the first game, you'll definitely feel at home with the second one. Okay, let's see, where are we at? This is a boss battle door. I'm going to do my best to collect as much gold as possible and to get as far as I can through these dungeons. Given yesterday's experience, I'm not sure I'll be up to par for us to get too far into the dungeons, but I'm going to try it. Let's see. Yay! Hooray for magic! Hey, we're going at the top. I would like for this to go away. Let's see, does it reach us there? Nope. So the game looks good at this point, it sounds good too. I hope that the developers will have the resources needed to finish it. They definitely seem to have the determination to progress with it. For me personally, I am happy that I bought it. For as much fun as I had with the first one, even though I only played it like a couple of times. Yesterday was the 3rd time, as I already said in it. And yeah, I got a whole lot of fun out of it. Maybe one of these days I can actually go ahead and finish it. I think I finished it the first time I played it, but that was a long time ago. And the second time I played it, I definitely did not finish it. Let's see. A beautiful piece of weathered leather. Leather chest. That's nice. Okay, well, we'll be progressing through this. There were a couple of things that I wanted to talk about today as far as maybe a topic for the weekend, right? Last time I spoke about how I got into playing computer games, right? A little bit of a story from my my childhood in a way. Well, we lost a new character. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about... I should stop saying a little bit too. Probably gonna make a list where I write down some words. A pacifist or clumsy. And clumsy. Now let's go with the archer. Warbow, ivy lookout and blaze below. I should make a list with the words I keep repeating in order to stop myself from using them so much, and they become really bad crutch words in my language. Let's see, barbarians, butcher shoppy. Barbarians say eating vegetable makes you weak. They also have scurvy, so what do they know? Don't let their bulky bodies and low IQ fool you. Barbarians are some of the most agile warriors in the kingdom. Armed with powerful axes, barbarians are whirling wheel of death and more death. No, we're not going to switch to barbarian. Building castle is tough. Labor costs rise with each upgrade, making each purchase slightly more expensive. Okay, so we need to think about it, how we spend our money like in the last game. And we'll unlock the mage as well. Beards are mandatory. Masters of magic, mages have tapped into their primal elements that govern this world, but all that studying has its side effects. Firstly, one must always tote the sickest of beards, and that's it. No more side effects. I like the fact that the classes now are a whole lot more different than in the first game, right? In the first game you had a knight with some special abilities, but it seems like in this game we're actually getting different classes that act differently. So that is a big improvement over the first one. Let's see how good we can do with classes that are non-melee. And during this archery game, there's a disadvantage here, to where when you shoot you have to stay still. I wonder how I'll do. At least I won't be getting hit, right? If I stay from a distance like this. I guess there's a plus there, but also a minus, especially since we don't have dash yet. We'll see. And I think we're back. Sorry everyone, had a crash with my recording software. I am using OBS and from time to time I think I'm letting too little space as far available in order to do certain parts of recording. So I'm sure that somewhere in there it's my fault. I haven't been paying attention to something. I think I left off where I was telling you about the topic of the day, right? What I wanted to go for. And today it's a little bit about history, because I am curious. I spoke with a few of you, right, in some of my other videos, and especially in the Thrones of Britannia series, and it seems that there quite a few of you are interested in historical subjects, and so I wanted to talk about what's my interest in history, where it came from, how it evolved over the years, and where am I at today. Maybe not as a... I know that in a sense this might not be the most interesting topic, uh, but I do want to give you, the audience, a little bit of information about me. If you are interested in the same kind of information or topics, maybe we can expand more in the future, or you can feel free to open subjects like this with me, because I'm going to be fully honest and interested in, well, these subjects as well. So let's just go this direction. I will be picking this mage for this turn. And what do I do with you? I think we have 460 gold. We're gonna skip through the text of this blacksmith. He's probably saying that we just need to bring him some blueprints and he'll make us the best thing that we have. The best stuff that he can with the money that we give him. So there we have it, we've upgraded our soldiers. My interest with history actually started in school, in the early grades. I think, when was the history? I started learning history, I think, in 4th grade. I think that's about the time where you learn it, or the 3rd grade. I can't fully remember when we learned history. Ooh, I do like this mage. Like, look at the range on him. So we just have to play carefully because he doesn't have a whole lot of health. But I had a... I still remember it was the principal of that school that actually taught history. And in the first few grades, here in Romania at least, you learn about the ancient history, you learn about, you know, the prehistoric people and the hunter-gatherers kind of communities, and then go to farming and all that. And I remember those books were amazing. Like, they were very colorful, they showed a lot of... Ooh, what is this? You hear 1,000 whispers but can't make out the voice. Do we want to give a boss battle a go? Not yet. Let's continue the game. In this hour of gameplay, we will be trying one of these boss battles, but not right now. Let's continue exploring the dungeon. And so those books, for someone like me, really got my interest going, and this teacher had even though he was quite intimidating, he definitely had a passion for history, because he would tell us all these stories about how communities formed and everything else. And I remember just sitting in my bench and imagining constantly... do we have any secrets here? Doesn't look like it. It just looks like a trap. So I remember just sitting and imagining those communities coming together. And around that time there were also games like, you know, Age of Empires, right? The first one, where you do start with prehistoric units. And there was also games like Pharaoh that I've seen. And when we started about Egyptians, like, that was a subject that I was interested in. And after that, the Legend of Olympus, there's a book written, I think it is written by a Romanian, right? Let me do a quick check. As we continue this. Yeah, so there's a book called The Legend of Olympus. It was written by Alexandru Mitru. He is a Romanian writer. And he took the stories of Olympus and translated them and put them into a story form. This guy has 1 HP and we get 150 extra gold. He's Trionic or Hollow Bones. I don't want the 1 HP character. Let's pick another archer. And I am going to give them a little extra life. We're going to give them a little extra damage, and that's about it for now. Numbers are exaggerated, okay. They say that we can look here to get more information. Now this is nice, this is a good way to check out your characters. I do like this. Your items, and there's something else. Okay. So you read Legend of Olympus and I got fascinated about all these gods, the stories, the societies that formed around them. And that, the honor of fighting with a sword, and as you can imagine as a young boy, just playing with sticks and imagining that they're swords, right, and fighting with your friends and doing all that. And I love that type of sword and shield history for a very long time. I actually hated, or maybe hate is a strong word, but I definitely disliked the type of the history that came after the invention of the gunpowder. So I wasn't interested at all into that, but definitely wasn't interested in the politics game because there was a lot of that history, especially for Romania, being a country that has always been surrounded by powerful neighbors. Romania has struggled a whole lot to stay alive. We had Russia, we had the Ottoman Empire, we had the Hungarian, right, the Magyar hordes. There have been constantly, we had Austro-Hungarian at some point. There were always... Okay, can I get there? I think I can do this puzzle. Ah, I made it. And we haven't formed Romania for a very long time. We're not that old of a country. Like, Romanian people as a nation, or Romanian people have been around for a long time, but the country of Romania hasn't. The full country, the united country, as they say. And in a sense you can say that even today we are not a full country. But that's a different discussion for a different time. Basically, I didn't enjoy that part of history, that politics, or the gunpowder history that was taught at the time. And so I struggled. I loved history and I had a bunch of good results and grades in my early years of learning history, but then I started, it started going down because it didn't feel interesting to me. The way I got interested in gunpowder, in the, the more the history after the introduction of the gunpowder, was actually through Napoleon. I think this passion for Napoleon came maybe somewhere in 2010. I think it's probably sometime around that. Sometimes around that time. How do you say? Sometimes around that time. Well, you get the point. I don't want to stop. I'm already stopping a whole lot, trying to concentrate on the game as well. But somewhere around 2010, I was trying to remember when did Total War Napoleon came out. Because when that game came out, there was, and there is still, this YouTuber called Heir of Carthage. He was playing campaigns and was playing also battles, like skirmish battles, like custom battles, in the multiplayer world, and he was doing commentaries on certain battles as well. And for some reason, I loved the look of that game. For as little as that game was appreciated, I think the visuals were amazing. You had all those battles, and the gunpowder, after the troops fired the gunpowder for a long time, you get a battlefield that's full of smoke, and so the effects were fascinating. And that opened the door to for me to be more interested in Napoleon, because I played the game, and the atmosphere and the music was quite beautiful. And so I got into reading more about Napoleon, and then I got fascinated into him and what he did for the French society and what he was trying to do overall. And from that point onward, I got more interested in... I don't think I can make it if I don't have a dash here. You know what? I could have created the platform here. Yeah, no. Fortunately, we died there. And so, with the help of games, as I've grown older, now let's pick a barbarian. I started being interested in the history of the gunpowder of the modern society. Then I got into colonialism, and at some point, after all this happened, I think I started playing maybe Company of Heroes or something. I did play in the past games like Medal of Honor, like the first few games, and I know I enjoyed those, but they didn't really get me interested in the history. But now with the introduction of, let's see, CIP, gold, can't see your health. Okay. And this barbarian has a cool attack here. Unfortunately, he doesn't seem like very, like he's moving, he just attacks while sitting still. Okay, so that's his disadvantage there. But his attacks do hurt. Okay. And then I got interested, as I said, in the history of the World War. I got to reading more, got to watch some movies. Like Company of Brothers, I think it's one of the series I've seen, and that is a good series, like something like a 10 episode. And there's also a second one from the same producer called The Pacific. It's that movie's, I don't know, felt absolutely amazing to watch. I loved it. Maybe you can give it a go as well. And that's how somehow I advance into being interested in more areas of history than normal. It's books have a really tough time of showing you how interesting a certain subject might be. You can't really get, especially kids, especially nowadays with television and everything that's available for them, and even back then we had cartoons and a few other things. Can I go through somewhere else? No, I have to go through here. We actually made it there. I have to do a attack there. We got hit, so at this point it doesn't matter anymore. We're going to die. We didn't. So we're still safe, guys. And because I got interested in history through games, it feels very weird to me when I hear people say, and you probably know this, especially if you're a gamer, that you can't learn anything from games. And that they just distract people, and there's definitely some truth to that. If you think about anything in this regard, if not done in moderation, then they will take over your life. Like, you'll have to make sure that you're doing, that you take breaks, that you don't play, you know, for too many hours before getting up and, you know, moving around the house. Nothing is good if you do too much of, right? Without too much thinking. But I do believe that games are a wonderful medium through which you can get your kids very motivated to learn about certain subjects. And we're back once again. I'm not sure what's happening with my recording software today. Probably have some conflicting app opened, or maybe a Windows update. I will have to check it out after this. But I am going to backtrack a tiny bit to where I last left off. We are going to pick a new character, because I want to have this hour-long video for you guys just to check the game. Let's see. Aerodynamics, we can go with a barbarian, or we could go with another knight. I think I would like to play with the knight, continue to play with the knight, and go for a boss battle, see what we're doing there. I will buy a health upgrade. Ooh, for glaucoma. This is not great, but it's not too bad either. I don't know, let's give this a go. A few years ago, I started saying this when I first, on the early recording, but a few years ago, that the game that came out was Surviving Mars. And I am very influenced nowadays about the games I play in order to find subjects to study. Except for a few personal interests that I already have developed over at least the last 10 years. When it comes to subjects like history and science and everything else, I get super interested in them when there's a certain game coming out. So for example, ooh, how do we get there? Yeah, I don't have time to reach that chest. There's a skeleton here. I get very interested in certain subjects by the game that came out. So when when Surviving Mars came out, I think it's from Paradox Interactive if I'm not mistaken, then I started becoming interested in space science, right? There were games also like Kirby Space Program or Kerbal Space Program. I think it's Kerbal, right? And when I played those games, when I started reading books about creating a Mars colony, I read Elon Musk's book. There was a huge craze during those times about what Elon Musk had planned and all the money that he was putting in his project. And that's how I got interested in learning about that as well. And we can't reach there with this ability. So then I I get into other subjects like this as well nowadays. It's how I started with Napoleon, as I said earlier. It's how I'm now learning about F1, Formula 1. I think F1 Manager came out like 2 years ago, probably. Unfortunately, we died again. Okay, new character. We're reaching the boss, guys. We're going to give a boss a try today and probably put a cut after that. Hopefully we'll reach it in time. If not, I'm gonna do my best off camera and bring the video back to where we are on camera. Barbarian, mage, which the mage was pretty good as well. Let's go with the mage. And I will take for you more mana here. And there's these abilities, okay. And from game to game, from team to team, from subject to subject, when I get super interested in something, it's even the idea of the channel came, right? What felt like pretty interesting to me, and this is what I'm most curious about, to see if there are people like me out there who aren't passionate only about one subject, but have multiple interests that change with time, and when that happens, they delve deep into it. But after that, they just move on to something else. Like they've learned, well, let's say, enough being a very vague term. Everybody makes their own rules about what enough is, right? So when they decided that they've had enough of a certain subject, they just move on. And I'm interested to know this, if this is you, if this is something that you do as well. Because I find it pretty fascinating, and it's not only with more serious subjects like we spoke about history or we spoke about science. It's also subjects like fantasy lore. Like I did a bit of research a while back into the Warhammer fantasy, and I also learned about the Witcher lore and things like this. I played Witcher recently. I'm definitely going to get into the future. You are sticks, not stones, or aerodynamic. Okay, let's take the knight. Even in recently, I got into the Witcher lore. Somehow I got into the games and I played them and I loved them. And then I bought the books, all the books, and I started reading them. I'm still reading them at this point. But yeah, that's how that's how I move from subjects to subjects, from games to games, and have a lot of fun while doing it, to tell you the truth. I think this was the big reason why I decided that in my life I'm not gonna give up games at any point, because they do bring me a lot of joy. I am doing it in a healthy manner, so I'm not... Ooh, how do we get out of this? Ah, like that. And I'm enjoying the experience. I'm learning a lot just by getting fascinated of certain games. And I wouldn't want to remove this for any reason. Well, maybe a few reasons in my life, but you know, I think you get what I am saying right now. So are you this type of person? Are you the type of person that just gets very passionate about a subject and does like to try new ideas, or gets inspired by certain histories and they got deeper into the subjects? Or maybe you've explored a subject to reach very far? Like, are you? I know one of the people that I've spoken to on this channel is very likes the Dark Ages history. Shout out to you, dude. But I found that very interesting as well as a subject. Now that I'm getting into different conversation with him, just sharing a few ideas that we discovering, a few monuments that we've discovered in France of Britannia, like that's very fascinating for me. And it makes me look for even more monuments and everything like that. So I know there's a few of you out there who are at least interested in a certain category, right, of subject. Whew. I have to say that making these specials during the weekend, especially with some of these games where I also want to have a chat with you guys and do it while not streaming, it's not necessarily easy. I feel they are a bit difficult to talk by myself of a certain subject like this, right? Like, how are you guys? And then wait for the comments or for the day when you will be able to see it. Maybe this is an idea that I will bring into the future, right? Because it shouldn't be too difficult to start streaming today. I would believe. At least not technically. And Twitch is very permissive as far as your ability to stream. Even though you can't partner up, right, to the whole monetization and things like that. But I don't care for that, at least definitely not at this moment. If you think that a stream might be more fun to do during the weekend, I'll give that a thought. Remember that I am I'm in a different time zone, so at least for my US friends, I'll be probably, when I would like to do these streams, it will probably be midnight for you, or definitely sometimes late in the night, but I mean, we can find a good hour for everyone, or for most people. Anyway, just give me your thoughts. What do you think? Should we be trying to stream and have chats about certain subjects like this one, right? About maybe history, maybe science, maybe something else. And with this being said, I will stop the chattering and focus on trying to get to a boss battle. Let's see what we can do. Fortunately, there's nothing left here. Should be using my abilities more, especially as mana regenerates when we use these abilities. And when we attack the enemies. Okay, food! Okay, let's go right. I hate this damage. Let's see, how much time do we have left? We have about 8 minutes to get to a boss battle. Let's give that a go. What do we want to play now with? A diva. A barbarian diva. Let's try it. A diva. The spotlight's on you. Yeah. I do like the creativity of the game developers. Overall, the game feels pretty good. It has quite easy learning curve. You can see that most of the things that happen here, like the reason why I'm losing so much life and everything else, and I'm losing people, is because we are not paying attention, right? It's about having skill. I like that the enemies are being shown as well. So even if the spotlight is on us, I guess it's a bit different than a glaucoma, right? Ooh, what is this? Can we make it there? Doesn't seem like it. Anyway, let's move on. Try to find that boss. I promised a boss, we're bringing a boss. As I was saying, most of the things that happen here is just because we are making mistakes. We are not paying enough attention to what is happening. Ooh. Flowers being thrown. Don't get hit. This is another special chest I don't care for. Don't really care about these enemies either. This map only has a chest there. I am going to try to get out of it. Find ourselves the boss arena. But as soon as you practice playing this game, you learn the patterns of the enemy, you find yourself a good class and buy a little bit of equipment, you know, have a few upgrades here and there that could help your survivability. Then it's definitely going to get a whole lot easier. I know the same thing happened with Rogue Legacy 1. The first time I played it, I was very bad at it, and after a few days of playing the game, you definitely feel the difference in your ability to actually, you know, pass the levels and survive and avoid enemies. This is not a game where you tank any kind of attacks. What you try to do is avoid in order to have the best chance to survive. Okay. Okay. More enemies. That ability is really good, the Barbarian freezing ability. That is a chest, I don't care for the chest. And that was a bad move. I do care about the bad moves. Even these ones. Even that one. So yeah, we need to go further in. I wonder how we'll be able to do it. At least the Barbarian's ability to take care of these spikes is really good. That was my alarm. Our time is almost up. Now there might be... I don't think actually if I'm gonna put a cut, I'm just gonna continue for a little longer. See if we can make it, and if we don't, then I will put a cut and get back at you when we have the boss battle available. I think it might just be a simple situation of there's always the room to that has an ending like this. Okay, we're going to put a cut in here and be back at the boss battle. I'm back, guys. I made it to a boss battle door. Unfortunately, it was sealed. We do need to make something happen in order to unlock it, most likely. I don't think this is something about early access, about the game still being in development. I think there are some condition in actually opening the first boss battle and probably the following boss battles as well. But I wanted to take these final minutes to talk once more about the game itself, because this is a work in progress and I want to give both you and the developer a chance. You, first of all, I want you to have all the information on whether you want to buy this game or not, and also if you made it to the end of this video, I am going to talk about what you will find in this game at the moment, and if you enjoy where this game is going and you would like to give it a try yourself and you enjoy watching a game progress through development, then I'm giving the developers a chance, right, to get some extra money. So what to expect? Well, so far, even from the beginning of a round, you can see that there are certain skills here. We bought quite a few things left and right, and this is about the maximum of the skill of this castle that you can get to. All these other skills that are locked, they say that they will become available in later patches. And so there's only what you see on the screen at the moment and what mostly you've seen me play that is available for you as well. The only difference is that if you're playing and have better skills than mine, you will be progressing even further, of course, through the rounds, experiencing more of the game than I could have shown you in this hour. And otherwise, as far as gameplay goes, with the characters, with the way it feels, with the way it looks, with the controls, with the magic and everything that's in this game, even the quality of the graphics, I'm even playing this game at 4K, which is very fun to play. I would recommend it. I definitely, if not now, and I don't consider, because I don't consider it for myself, I'm not gonna play this game anymore until the game comes out of early access. But when it does come out, if it's a full product, I believe that you are going to get a whole lot of enjoyment out of it. For the moment, I personally would just recommend that you buy the first one, the Rogue Legacy 1, which is a complete product, and you will get many hours of gameplay out of that with an end goal in mind, with everything else, and you'll be continuing in the second one probably somewhere in the near future, maybe in a year or so. I think that can be fair to be expected, 6 months to a year probably, maybe even more than that. I wouldn't know more, so I'm not gonna say anything else. I just hope that you have enjoyed this experience. As per usual, when I play this game during the weekend, if you'd like me to do a full playthrough of a certain campaign, if you want to see me do a full playthrough of Rogue Legacy 1 and see me work hard on my skills and beating these levels up, just let me know in the comments below or via email, and I will take it into consideration, try to plan it out, and bring what you guys want to see. Provide me with feedback, tell me what you think about what I'm doing, how you think I could improve. It's very welcomed. I am very grateful to have you guys, and with the closing of this Sunday, I am going to wish you all to have a wonderful week ahead, and I hope that you can accomplish all your goals. So until then, Have a wonderful Sunday.